Hi, I'm Buddy. And I'm Dude. And I'm Rodney. Excuse me. And I'm Rodney, the creator, artist, and writer. And welcome to the world of Pitter Patter.
Scribbling the adventures of these two sometimes lovable cats, I'm very excited to not only be offering issue 1, but issue 2 as well. That's right, the first 2 issues of Pitter Patter are available through our Kickstarter for your enjoyment. The books center around our 2 harebrained cats, Buddy and Dude, cats from different sides of the tracks, and how they traverse the choppy waters that are their lives around the house, yard, and other dark and dangerous places beyond the door. But wait, that's not all. If you act now, you can get your grubby little paws on all of the shiny pretty things we have to offer. The goods are aplenty: pins, variant covers, stickers, trading cards, and more. Simply scroll down below and check out all the rewards, add-ons, and stretch goals. If you have a cat, love a cat, know a cat, or even hate cats, these books are going to be right up your alley. So come on, follow along and enjoy the ride. And thank you all for checking out the world of Pitter Patter and for supporting our Kickstarter. For Buddy and Dude, this is Rodney Fike saying, so long, everybody.
Yeah.
It's taking a while.
Yeah.
What is?
If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no syrup. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Why is StreamYard lagging? It just lagged that. Well, anyway, that was a Kickstarter from Rodney Fike from Hazzum Productions. You'll definitely catch him at MBOnCon doing a live drawing. So that was his Kickstarter that's going on right now till August 6th. The link is in the description. So again, we want to give a shout out to Rodney Fike, awesome artist, awesome person. If you ever get to see him at a con, step up to him, check him out, give him a conversation. I am fumbling my words. It is Tuesday night, guys. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's jump into it. We have a double header for you guys. Oh man.
So first of all, podcast announcements. I will be on Let It Out on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you'll catch me at Comics Cast. We'll be talking about a bunch of projects, nerds related, and beyond related, everything related, Sebastian related, just people related, because it's all our stuff. There we go. But yeah, that's at 1 p.m. This Sunday at the Comic Cast channel. I will get to draw with the awesome Jarrell Matos.
Nice.
Second. This subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to our Twitch, listen to us on your favorite podcast app. We are there. Our lives go on there as well, so we put it on there for you guys to listen to us in the car if you are not tired of hearing our voices. We are there, but make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Twitch channel, follow our Instagram, TikTok for more information. I mean, we did an awesome shoot for July 4th where we were all on white. We were all white, and then the family meme popped out too. Van Diesel made an appearance.
I can't what you see, Bess. You need to stop, man. You need to stop while you're ahead.
Next up, man, it goes with the territory.
That's it.
Having on my meds. MBOnCon virtual show August 28th and 29th. Free admissions, free to participate. VIP packages are also available, as well as exhibitor booth upgrades. Use code Get Nerdy with it to get 10% off of VIP packages and vendor booth upgrades. But again, the show general admission and participation is free. We want everyone to come through to the show to enjoy it. It's a virtual show. Go to mbioncon.com for more information, and remember that code, because there is some dope digital swag in those VIPs, so you don't want to miss out on that. Also too, September 4th, September 5th, Ghost Icon, Geeks Out Staten Island. We will be there September 4th.
We're in person. I'm so excited.
On September 4th, September 5th, they will go virtual for those who, still, because again, we're dealing with this pandemic, who, are not comfortable going in person. So they will do a virtual event on September 5th as well. Finally, October 23rd, 24th, we got to give Incredicon a shout out. They will be doing their show at the Poughkeepsie Galleria Mall on October 23rd and 24th. So they will be there. Again, if you have not seen check them out on their website. Check out in Credit Chat. They do a lot of amazing stuff there. So that is all the announcements that we have right there and then. So first of all, we want to bring up, because we want to get into Black Widow real quickly, but I'm going to bring out our guests because we have some awesome guests that are coming on to the show today. First of all,
start with the newest guest first.
I'm going to start with the newest guest. Why are you jumping ahead of me?
I'm just saying.
Plus Ultra. Come on. Wait. Tag. All right. So our first guest we're going to bring out, we have a creator series that's going to feature him. That's going to come out in a few weeks. We got a great conversation with him. He's an awesome dude. He's been doing some awesome stuff. And you have seen this man's work on Game Grumps, on Sketch Brew. I want to give it up for his nerds. Let's give it up for his first time on the show. The one, the only, VT. What's up?
Yay. What's up, guys?
What's up, VT? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. Welcome to the live show.
Thank you. I'm ready for this chaos.
There you go.
Yeah.
Chaos. We got a double header.
I'm glad you know that you're aware. Like,
oh man, I'm fully aware now. Like after the conversation that we had, like I know.
He's like, I spent some time in the green room. I know what it is.
That's it. That's it. Next up on the list, you've seen him on the show before. You saw him in Beyond Con before. Also, too, just to let you guys know, VT and his crew will be doing a panel for Beyond Con, a pre-recorded panel that they're going to debut. This group that we're going to be out is going to be on a panel in Beyond Con. You caught them last year on a panel in Beyond Con. You actually caught Reverend Charlie, and we're still waiting for the Sean Acevedo calendar. So give it up for Sean Luke Acevedo and the Reverend Charlie Williams from Sketchfed.
You know what? I gotta say though, like you said all this other shit, and you missed the one thing, in that we kicked their ass in questions against livers.
My bad.
Like you completely missed that, my man. Like what's going on?
Man.
What's up,
and
George?
There will be a part 2 very soon.
Yes,
there will
very
be.
soon. It might be in person.
Ooh. Let's do it.
Oh,
so George,
just so I can get ready for tonight.
He's in the chat now.
George is here.
Yeah, but you know
George
you
is
can do your
there,
thing.
so we can do the thing for George. Let's go before George.
What's funny
before
is that
bedtime.
will George be with us when we actually talk about Loki? Because that's when he gets the real spoiler warning. Because right now we talking about Black Widow.
Yes.
Oh,
It's all about that widow that is black.
Yes. So tonight we are doing, I don't know, we were supposed to do an hour. We're doing about 52 minutes of review of Black Widow. Anything and
I feel like
everything.
that's a little bit too long, though.
No. Stop it. Stop the nonsense. We're talking everything about what it is in regards to Black Widow. Spoilers will be said. Black Widow's already dead, but we needed to have a movie about her, I think, a little bit too late. Still,
You know what? Yep, we'll talk about that. I agree with you
We'll talk about
150%.
All right, George. We will see you there, brother.
all right,
So-
bet. You get the real spoiler warning there. This is a fucking movie. Let's do this.
So VT, so break you into the fold. We're gonna have you go first of how you felt about this movie.
Wait. First things first. I need to know.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, it's
Whose
nothing
show is
bad.
this, man? Whose show is this?
If it's aimed towards me, I'm not ready, man.
No. I just need to know for referential purposes. Okay. Who watched it in the theater and who watched it on Disney Plus, and who didn't watch it on bootleg?
I didn't watch it on bootleg.
I watched it in theaters.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. I'm watching it from the couch.
Yep.
Sean?
I paid those $30 for that movie.
That's right.
Damn right.
It's the best $30 we all spent.
Goddamn right.
Where'd you watch
Listen,
it?
all
It
I'm
ain't
saying is
Mulan, it's
piracy
worth
is
it.
bad.
What
All I'm
happened?
saying is piracy is bad.
So we see one team.
We live in a day and age where we just share usernames and passwords. Like, I
Yo,
don't
like-
understand.
Right.
Why are you storing
Yo,
this?
for
Why are you storing
What?
this?
We do not
No.
condone the sharing of
I would
passwords.
not share
I didn't.
Do better.
All right,
You know,
guys.
again, now we're at 51 minutes because there's a hard stop at 10 according to Seabass.
Right.
So let's do our 51
All
minutes.
right,
All right.
so
we have
My
to-
VT,
apologies. You
Well-
can continue on with your show.
Thank you, sir.
so VT, how did you feel about the movie and everything?
Oh Lord. Okay, so Man, I have so many mixed feelings about this movie because it's like I didn't hate it at all, right? But there were definitely issues that we're going to talk about. I'm pretty sure. But on the whole, like I did have a good time watching it. I enjoyed seeing Scarlett Johansson back again, for a last hurrah. I thought there was great action. There was some great comedy too, like way more than what I thought there was going to be. And I like some of the characters, and like I said, we'll get to one who I didn't like that much, but yeah, I thought it was pretty decent. I mean, like maybe like 1 out of 10, I'll probably give this like an 8.
Okay, that's good.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. Rich, behave yourself.
Better than Blank Man.
Blank Man.
Listen.
It was definitely better than Steel. Do not bring up Steel, Rich. You're in timeout.
Oh no,
Charlie, you're next on the list. Give us the reference take.
I'm 50-50. And I think I'm 50-50 because of the pandemic. Like, I feel like if this movie had came out fresh prior to the pandemic, it would have kind of still had that Marvel energy, that flow. That's just me. That's how I felt. I enjoyed it, but I just think that there was some parts of it that I felt just lingered on. Like, the pacing of it was just kind of slow at parts, and it just lingered on, and it didn't have my attention. Like, the moments that it did were all action, and I don't think that's what makes a story a story. I think that it's in the creativity of the story itself, but a lot of that comes down to the pacing of the movie. So I don't know. I'm like 50-50 on it. Like, it's not one of the worst Marvel movies, but I'm not going to shit on it because I really do enjoy Scarlett Johansson. I enjoy her role as Black Widow. It's great once again to see her back on screen, but I don't know, something about it just doesn't do it for me.
And Emilio, Florence Pugh was awesome. I didn't think the movie sucked, but I'll get on my opinion with that next. But we'll go with Sean. Sean Acevedo.
Really? You just gotta put the okay, so honestly,
oh wait. I gotta pick on Emilio about this. No, the worst one was Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3. You're grounded too,
I
Emilio.
can agree with that.
You're grounded too,
I disagree. The worst Marvel movie is Thor: The Dark World.
Thor: The Dark World is the worst Marvel movie. That's my bottom.
You know what? We're gonna lock Emilio in a room, make him watch Batman versus Superman.
It was this. I was like, what?
What? We're not gonna make him watch the 4-hour Snyder cut so he can gouge his eyes out?
No, let's go.
Let's go. Keep the string going.
Keep the show going. Keep the show going.
All right, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Did I think it was like the groundbreaking movie that some of my friends are making it out to be? No. But I do believe it is a movie, and it's an excellent movie for something that should have came out after like Age of Ultron or Civil War, right? And not now. I feel like even if this came out right after Avengers Endgame, I think more people would have been pissed off because this still kind of did a disservice to what happened to her at the end of Endgame, right? So the movie's great. Florence Pugh steals the show. And I believe like there's a lot of pieces here that are going to be bigger than people realize. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it, like the Taskmaster piece and all that stuff, right? But overall, I'd also give it an 8 out of 10. It's not out. It's like it's in the middle of one of those like good Marvel films, you know? Like it's something that I would rewatch when it comes on Disney Plus for free.
And I'm gonna pull up Joe's comments, which was here. Dialogue was great, action was great. They took the human trafficking, which was great. Black Widow took for high friendly favorite. And yeah, I have to agree, it was a better story than than Captain Marvel. It really was. I enjoyed the story a lot. I mean, before I get into Lawrence and Tony, I just want to toss it out there. Like, I think that this was a great movie of passing the baton. I felt like, you know, because now we're in the age of Marvel shows, that maybe it would have been great to expand more as a show, but it was great for what they did. They did a lot of great stuff in this movie. And I mean, it to me, they found a place where to put Black Widow because there wasn't much more that you could do for the character after that, but it was a nice passing of the torch for me and explaining a little bit of her world and introducing new characters. But Law, I will tag you in now. Tag.
I got you. So I remember when Tone hit me up and I was like, I would actually put this in damn near my top 5. because of where it stands versus a lot of the other MCU films. So I would say we look at the Winter Soldier as like the apex of what the MCU films have been so far. For me, that's always been a movie that you can take out of Marvel, take away all the Marvel pieces, and it's still a very solid spy like kind of movie, you know, or something to that effect. With Black Widow, yes, did it come a little too late? Yes. Was there some things I wish they would have changed? Absolutely, especially with time to think about it after like first seeing it, because you know you get that little like excitement when you watch it in theaters versus watching it at home. I would still say it's higher in my like top 10 of overall Marvel films, and I really enjoyed it. Like again, Florence Pugh like completely stole the show for me. And then I was disappointed with certain elements that I wish like we got a little bit more of, but I'm sure we're gonna get into it. But I genuinely enjoyed it. It did what it was supposed to do. It just came out a little bit later than it needed to.
Okay, George. I wanted to love it and ended up kind of liking it, but it's definitely at the bottom of the Marvel movie pile. I wouldn't think so, George. I mean, Florence Pugh did shoot it so, but there are other more Marvel movies you can name. I mean,
so here's
Thor: The Dark World. Who you say the villain is? Like, if you're saying Taskmaster as the villain, then it's really Dreykov is the villain, and what he is. Yeah, you know, that's how you got to look at it, because Taskmaster is just is a victim of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's a whole other conversation to have a little bit later too. So
so the example of the MCU movie, like I said, I agree that the plot was better than what they did with Captain Marvel. But
also look at it this way: we've gotten a better solo story from this movie than we did with. I didn't think Doctor Strange was that strong of a starting movie. Iron Man did a really good job. Captain America was okay, but wasn't as good as Civil War. You know what I mean? Or Winter Soldier. So, like, look at it in terms of solo MCU films.
There's a difference, but there's a big difference between Black Widow and all those other characters that you just mentioned. Black Widow was already a mainstay in the MCU before she even got a solo film. These characters were introduced in their solo films. Right. So therefore you have to show their faults and their arrogances and their issues prior to them, you know, shining in their movies. That's why we put the Winter Soldier as a pinnacle movie for Captain America and the MCU as a whole, because we already knew these characters. Now you could do character development and character growth based on that ideology.
But with her being like, and Tony, you can take it away after this, I promise. But with her being already established in the MCU, right? And then there's basically, this is a movie we all can agree that came out way sooner. Like this should have been phase 2, phase 3, early phase 3.
So I disagree, because I heard Sean make that comment earlier, and I think that without giving like spoilers of like, I don't.
Bro, who gives a shit?
This is a spoiler show.
Okay. So it's more of like, not really a spoiler, but I feel like no matter where you would have put it, it would have been a spoiler of her death. Her death in Endgame had so much meaning to it. That's why I don't feel like there's any real place to put this movie to make it really fit in.
Here's the thing, though. That her death, everything involving her death happened in the post-credit scene.
Right. That's
so if this was to take place right after Civil War and right before Infinity War, right? And the post-credit scene would have been Captain America showing Captain America break them out the raft, as opposed to having that at the end of Civil War, right? Then it would fit. And have Florence Pugh at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier have that cutscene at the end, right? Because Val's in it. Have that cutscene at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, as opposed to that dumbass Sharon Carter piece, right? And then that would be a better lead into the Hawkeye show.
I think
let Tone go first.
I
Because
mean,
we're about to go deep.
you guys are hitting all the fucking stops. But I mean, talking about the movie itself, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought what they did with Black Widow was a great swan song for her as a character, as everyone said. I think fitting it in is what like the challenge for the movie was, because you've got to have a solid movie for Black Widow, but also do the due diligence of passing the baton without like being all up in your face about it. So that's why I think like Florence Pugh was just a fantastic addition, and I can't wait to see what she does in the Hawkeye show. Obviously some bumps in the road. I think what they did with Taskmaster, not the fact that she was a victim of Dreykov, but just using that villain, and kind of everyone kind of has an idea of who Taskmaster is, and maybe it could have done differently. I'm interested to see what they do with the character, if this leads into a Thunderbolts sort of thing, Dark Avengers sort of thing of what they do, because then I think it'll be worth it at that point. As long as we're not doing the normal Marvel of here's your antagonist or bad guy, your counterpart, and then we put him away and we don't see him again. But overall, I enjoyed the hell out of the movie. I thought it was great. I also like the fucking stunts, amazing. Like they were like the stunts were nuts. I'm like watching this movie, and you're seeing Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh just throwing each other against the wall. I'm like, I'm here for this. It was really cool. They didn't pull any punches. It was dope. It was really great action scenes.
I'm going to put up some comments real quick, and definitely with George. It says, I said at the bottom because they set the bar so high. I agreed Thor the Dark World was hot garbage, and it wasn't that low. But, I mean, they did set the bar. But also, too, we had that big gap from Marvel movies. I want to pull up Joe's question, and I'm going to answer this for you, Joe. You guys should talk about what you did with the movie first, but instead did focus on Captain Marvel. I don't know why. I could tell you why, because, again, Captain Marvel was on the slate, but Black Widow, they admitted that they didn't know what to do with the character's movie, and they didn't want to do a movie for a movie's sake. They wanted to give the character a good story. So her story, they really focused on, because they were afraid of messing it up.
So here's the thing. Here's my caveat to that problem. There's two things that I have now that we can go on rants, right? One, Scarlett Johansson had to executively produce this for it to get done, period.
Right.
Like, this is coming out of Scarlett Johansson's pocket, right? And that's the part that pisses me off about this. One. Two, they have been making this since Age of Ultron. Like, they've been doing the writing for this since Age of Ultron, back like in 2016 or so, right? And the writers even said it, like, they had a Black Widow script ready to go, but they kept pushing it back.
Yeah, they kept pushing it back because, again, they wanted to make sure. And as her being an executive producer, you have to think about this. She has a little bit more creative control as well as what they're doing with the character. And she loved they all loved playing their characters. And I will say this is that again, I hate shit talking DC because I want them to do well, but I did that a lot of the actors who get to play the Marvel characters, they have a lot more love for the roles that they're playing than what we've seen come out of DC. And like I said, I mean, I don't like, if you compare Black Widow to Aquaman, if you compare it to Wonder Woman 84, if you compare it to Batman vs. It beats them all hands down to me. And I'm not, and people are gonna be, well, you're more.
No.
I like Titans.
I mean, that's true.
Titans is good.
True.
You're not shitting. I don't think you're shitting on DC, because let's be very clear and keep this very short. The writers, the studio of DC movies, no matter what actor they choose, they are not well invested the way that Marvel has been invested and the actors have been invested. Something I think Tone said that I just want to cap on, I think either Tone or Law said it, and it relates to this too, is the fact of, I'm happy it took them so long to write this and to put it out, because this movie doesn't feel forced. I think it's very. I think if you watch this movie with the clear understanding of where is it going, just for character, and I think that's where I have my like conflicts with it, because I'm happy it doesn't feel forced, even though I have an issue with the pacing. But now that I think about it, I don't think it's pacing. I think it's a hard movie to want to say, hey, here's a perfect 10, because there's just some things about it that just feel off, but it doesn't feel off in the sense like, oh, here's Black Widow, we're gonna force it in your face. Kind of. I don't even want to bash Captain Marvel, because I actually really do like Captain Marvel, but I do feel in comparison, Captain Marvel was more of a forced movie. Where Black Widow felt like, no, this is a part of
Well, I
Captain
think
Marvel.
Captain Marvel is like, look, I was talking to my wife about this. It was like, everyone was talking about Captain Marvel being the first female superhero movie, and I'm like, Captain Marvel just feels like a superhero movie, like hands down, because Carol isn't she's human, but she's not human. Like she's been living with the Kree doing her whole thing. Where Black Widow is like to me the first MCU female-led, female-written, female-directed Marvel movie, and like it talks about some of those issues that they deal with, especially with the Red Room, and they treat it like how they should, with Red Guardian being the guy that he is. But like the way that movie does such a better job than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel felt forced because they needed to bring in the strongest person to fucking fight Thanos.
VT, I want VT to jump in because what was your complaint about the movie? What was one of the things? Because I know there was some stuff that people was like, So I wanted to get what was your take on that?
Well, I guess we'll get into it with Taskmaster, because for me, I think that was the biggest issue that I had going, because it just felt like since we're talking about like shoehorning in characters, I felt like she was just kind of dropped into place. I didn't really feel any attachment or sorrow for it. It was just like she's here for one mission, that's it. And then by the end of the movie, she's just like gone. And I wanted to see more of Taskmaster. Now I know there was an issue, and I just read up on this today that the origins of Taskmaster was originally supposed to be like a male, or something like that.
I think they said they said that Taskmaster, that they had the original version from the comics, but they did with this version to try to tie it more in with Natasha. But go ahead, sorry.
And that's fine. I don't care about the gender swap. I just care about the character. Make me care about the highs and lows of this character. And I guess I just didn't get that. So
can I hit this? Can I hit that with spoiler?
Let me just show this real quick. This is courtesy of the Comic Tube. And is it showing? There we go. This is why I think that they really put Taskmaster in there, because I think we are definitely, because the players are there, and Abomination is coming back.
So can I, real quick before Charles goes in, I just want to say this. A lot of people, I've been reading up on Twitter like for the past couple of days regarding this. A lot of people are complaining about the fact that it's not John Masters. That's his name. Yeah, it's not John Masters
Tony Masters.
Tony Masters. Yes, sorry, it's not Tony Masters being Taskmaster. And don't get me wrong, I love the twist. I love the fact that it's Dreykov's daughter that's in there, and she's actually being forced to be in that suit. All right. And the fact that it's a suit is a Marvel trope that plays on throughout the entire MCU. Right. I do suspect that there will be a different person in that Taskmaster suit later on, much like what they did with the Mandarin, how they made Trevor Slattery the Mandarin. And then now we're getting the Mandarin in Shang-Chi. Okay. They're going like, I know I'm really like a Marvel head for saying this, but I trust the process because it hasn't failed yet. Right? I trust the process that they bring in a character for story's sake, right? And then they bring it full circle because the story is going to allow it for a later time.
So I think that.
So what do we do with her? What do we do with the daughter then?
Well, the daughter's already done. Like if you think about it, the mind control's over. So she and the other Black Widows, all they're doing is freeing the other Black Widows.
Tony.
So to jump on that, bringing in Dreykov's daughter, what VT was saying, I think we just needed to figure something out because of we got Dreykov's daughter in the drop in Avengers 1 when she's talking to Loki. I was watching Avengers 1 with the kids. It's kind of why I remember that shit. Not because I have a photographic memory, but anyway. So they had to bring it in, and I think using that character to talk about the Red Ledger is what they needed to do. But going to Sean Luke's point of doing what Marvel does and trusting the process, they did call it the Taskmaster Initiative. And Tony Masters, based off comic lore, did teach low-level villains and high-level villains how to fucking fight. So who's to say he wasn't a part of the Red Room didn't hire him because he wanted to get into villainy because he thought it was more profitable. The Red Room, Dreykov didn't hire him to create this program, and then maybe we get Taskmaster later on, especially if we decide to do Thunderbolts, because I don't think it makes sense to have Dracov's daughter be part of the Thunderbolts.
Agreed.
I don't think that makes like she should be. The Widows should be doing their own thing, and maybe that has something to do with Florence Pugh, and like she's a part of that, or whatever the hell Val's doing. Like I don't know. Like we have to see what happens. But if they didn't decide to bring in Tony Masters that way, because he was like the leader and the trainer for the Taskmaster initiative, and he comes down the line, then cool. Then it makes sense.
I like it.
You know,
I would love to see it. Sorry.
I'm gonna pick up some. I'm gonna go with Charlie, but I'm gonna take some comments. I love you, Emilio. Come on, I'm not always shitting on them. I will shit them because I want them to have a great product. It is the execs. We will get together. We will talk about how the execs of Warner Brothers have messed up those movies. Because if you look at Titans is good. Titans has been pretty good.
Harley Quinn, the animated show, amazing.
Series, amazing. We just haven't got to talk to them. And Titans is coming back season 3 in August. So if you haven't seen Titans, I recommend it.
Also, DC is like the king of animated comic book movies.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Like that's the hands down.
When Long Halloween comes out,
the Long Halloween Part 1 was amazing.
It came out already? It came out already?
Part 1 came out.
Got the bootleg?
No, it came out on digital.
You got the Dean Winchester edition? Is that what you got?
I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is that it came out on digital, and it comes out every time it goes out on digital a month before it comes out on DVD.
Yeah, okay.
And I kind of agree with George. Like it was the casting with Captain. I mean, I'm gonna say this about Captain Marvel. It suffered what Thor suffered, because Thor 1 and Thor 2, if you ask about those movies, no one really talks about Thor until Ragnarok, because Thor was a rushed character. They rushed Thor to get him ready for the Avengers, which is the same they did with Captain Marvel to get her ready for Infinity War. Now we're going to jump into you, Charlie. Go right ahead.
Okay, so damn it. Sorry, my bad.
Fuck shit. Yeah,
so
there we go.
So before we move away from the story, I just want to say, like, I think that was the fail. Something that BT said, where it's kind of like you get the daughter, but she's the B antagonist, but you don't really feel the heart to it. And to Tone's point, like, yeah, you can go back and watch all the Marvel movies, to which with Black Widow being this central character, like they keep telling like these backstories of what happened, but I don't think it really relates to the daughter. And so one part is moving forward towards the Thunderbolts. I don't think it would make sense to have the daughter a part of the team if you really didn't give her a lot. Like there wasn't a lot of heart in writing her for this movie. And I think
it was
that's
a good plot twist. I would give it a great plot
twist. Yeah, it was.
I think it was a fail. I feel like it's a failed, and I know that's being harsh. It's a failed plot twist because I have that for myself. I have that same feeling too. Like, why should I care about this character? And then was the twist too far out? Was it so far out that when I got to it, I was just kind of like, I mean, the twist should be at a point that it's pivotal and it's surprising, but when it came out, it wasn't impactful. It didn't really add more value to the movie.
I didn't see that coming, but does it really matter?
Yeah. So I want to ask everybody, did you see that twist coming early on?
Yes.
No,
early on.
Honestly, no.
Honestly, I'd be surprised if you saw it up until 5 minutes before the reveal.
So here's the thing. I'll say it because I was with my roommate and we were watching the movie, right? And the moment you see Taskmaster fighting and the moment you see Taskmaster moving out of the Jeep for her first appearance, you could tell that's a woman in the suit. Okay, if you really look at it, you can tell it's a. It's not a reach. We saw it.
That's a reach.
No, and I'll tell you what.
Honestly, I really could not tell what gender. Taskmaster was in the first place.
I think it was two people playing.
Also, to be fair, if you're trying to play Taskmaster, that whoever's in that suit fights however, based on whoever they're fighting.
Yeah. Right, so it was that person was moving like Scarlett Johansson, which is a female. So the moment we saw that, we're like, okay, it's got to be a female in there, or somebody who can move like a female.
But did you get that when she was fighting Red Guardian? I didn't get that.
Right, because I didn't get that either.
Yeah, you know how I got that. Well, by then it was already too late. We already knew that. Yeah,
you're right.
Right. So
we're gonna get your roommate to beat you up. You keep on with that.
No. So
under that same logic, that means every male that played a female Power Ranger, you knew that was a male in those suits.
Did you not see the junk?
But wait. But you have to think about this. Taskmaster is supposed to copy
What
all
did
the
he say?
Avengers' abilities.
Right. I was
Yeah.
gonna bring that up. Like
Bye, Sean.
Taskmaster knew the flying styles of each Avenger, so it would make sense that she would carry on some of the moves
Yeah,
of
so
Black Widow.
So the
Well,
other
wait, wait.
twist, the other twist that would be
can someone explain why Melina would betray Dreykov? I'll explain that. I think it's more of to do with the scene that she was more loyal to Scarlett's character, to Black Widow, to Natasha, especially when they had that scene when she saw that she still had the book. She wasn't loyal to Dreykov. None of them were. They all hated him.
Yeah.
And when they were all freed, you can tell they
were disposable to him.
yeah. And
That was
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
and then yes, when she was fighting Scarlett at the beginning, I felt like she moved like a female. I mean, again, at Taskmaster, if we look at the character, is supposed to copy everybody's moves. That's
Taskmaster
how I
even
see
did
it.
the even did the 3-point stance.
Right.
Right.
So I mean,
I don't
Which
know.
they joked about, and that was hilarious. I have to say that was really funny throughout the entire movie.
Can
Fucking poser.
can we talk,
Yeah.
wait, can we talk about that? I want to highlight a photo from that movie about her posing. Can I highlight that?
Yeah.
Scarlett's.
Yes. So I just want to highlight that. Let's see. Screen share screen.
Not allowed to.
You're not
All right.
allowed
Let me know when you're ready to share that.
go.
Oh, okay. So I understand what it's like when her
Yo, why are
sister,
you revealing the June calendar?
when her sister,
Why are you revealing the June calendar?
Oh, man.
Now we're doing the December calendar. What's going on here?
so when her sister was talking about
Yo,
why do you always do the
do we remove
pose?
Sean or do we remove Charlie from the chat? I feel like we remove both of them right now.
I mean, this is great, man.
When
This is
her
great.
sister was talking about
Both
why do you
grounded.
always do the pose, I was like,
Welcome to the
yes.
show, VT.
Why does Sean
Thank
always
you. I
do the
enjoyed it
pose?
so much.
Why does Sean always do the pose? So I
My
just
nightmares
figured,
are going to be super high tonight. But,
Yo,
Charles,
VT,
all
what
I'm
the hell of a
saying
show to
All
come
right.
on, man.
Charles,
No,
all
no,
right,
real
let's
quick,
get back.
real quick. I have
Let's
to
reel it
ask
back. Let's
Charlie.
reel it back. I want you guys to talk about your favorite character. I want to talk about Red Guardian and Scarlet Pugh's character.
I feel like. Can I talk?
You've been
Florence
talking too
Pugh.
much, Sean. We're gonna Florence Pugh's character. We're gonna start with VT because you've been
All
talking
right,
too much,
all
Sean. You're in timeout. We saw too much of you already with your Charlie show.
Sorry, bud.
Poser. Yeah, go ahead, Trey. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
think the consensus amongst all of us is that Florence Pugh is like she plays the best character in the movie. You know, and I think that's a major benefit because we're going to see more of her, you know, and you want to feel attached and you want to feel like she can carry on the Black Widow name because I do feel like she's going to be a new Black Widow. So I think that was my favorite character of the movie. And second, God, I don't even think I have a second like favorite character. I think it's Florence Pugh.
Hard, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my pick.
Sean, now you could talk about Florence Pugh and Red Guardian. You've been tagged in.
Thank you. Just honestly, Florence Pugh, because
Wait, what happened to Sean?
Cold blooded.
it's a family show.
Family show.
Love you, George. Thank you, man. Always
Catch you
support.
later.
Make sure you check out George and catch the craze.
Yes, sir.
I feel like there was not enough Red Guardian to actually enjoy. Honestly, think about it. All he did was be an annoyance to the sisters, right? Do a couple of fight scenes where he gets his ass
I
whipped.
can't wait till I get tagged
That's
in.
his whole fucking purpose.
It's to be
His
annoying.
whole
Let's go, Tom.
entire
Let's go, Tom.
purpose.
The fact that he was
That is
compared
the-
to Crimson,
Yo,
the fact that he was compared to Crimson Dynamo,
bro,
Hey, Sean,
like,
bro,
It
he is
wasn't a.
that's his
it
whole
wasn't
purpose.
a
Typical machismo, living in the past bullshit. That's his entire shtick. My man was like lying that he fought Captain America. That's his whole thing. He's living in the past, living in the glory days.
that's
Like,
great.
That was it.
That is
And
great.
But
But what about the fighting scenes? What about the scenes that make him feel like Red Guardian?
He's out of shape. He's in there fucking arm wrestling with fucking prisoners. He ain't doing nothing.
Right.
Look,
You know what? To be
Stranger,
honest, he
Things,
played-
Stranger Things season 4 was filmed as Red Guardian. All right, he's coming back later on Netflix. He's coming back. He's coming back.
I want to say I think he was great playing. I really enjoyed his character. I don't see what Sean sees. I think he played his role. I think if you think about the comics, the nostalgia of him reminiscing over the idea of battling Captain America, that's all you really need out of his character. For God's sake, Sean, this was not a Red Guardian movie. This was a Black Widow movie. All right.
I mean, I really liked him too, honestly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think because like there were some scenes where he felt kind of like embarrassing and harboring on the past. Almost thought that was like a perfect representation of him as like a dad character. You know what I mean? Just to embarrass his daughters like every step of the way. Like when he was in the bedroom, trying to like I'm trying to be a father figure, and he just screws up telling his fish story. Like I just feel like that was such a natural thing to do for his character.
I love the scene between him and Yolanda when they start singing the song to her by Miss America, but to show that he cared for her. And I was like, to me,
Honestly,
that was good storytelling.
Yeah.
That's a cool scene.
Honestly, that's one. Dave Harbour, fucking amazing job with this role, but also, like, for me, like Rachel Weisz, I love her to death. Love her so much. I didn't get like that much emotionally attached to her that I did with his character. His like Red Guardian Alexi was like my dude because I was just like, he knows it's hot, but like you know, like he's this like Tone said, like he's in his head, all this glory stuff, whatever the case is. But there's a moment where he gets to recognize that and see where he fucked up, and he's like, I just want to be a good dad for my daughters. I know I'm a fuck up. I know I'm like this, whatever machismo, whatever the case is. But you see it right before he starts to sing, like Sebastian was saying, and I was just like, there it is, there it goes. Like
I guess I just want to see more of him. I guess I just want to see more of him.
Oh,
I mean, take the movie this way. Yeah.
No one doesn't want to see more of him. We all want to see more of him. But I think he did a really good, solid job at what he did do. Because he was there for a very specific role. He was there for the machismo, whatever, to be like, he was this role and he played it well. That's all it was.
Yeah.
I want people to
take the role as the only guy in a family of women. Like that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
I want people to take the characters this way because when we first got introduced to the MCU, we were being introduced to characters. What we're starting to see now is more of the passing of torch. And the Black Widow movie for me again was a passing of torch and introducing new characters. Like because I want to see Red Guardian meet John Walker now and Captain America and Bucky, aka Winter Soldier. How is that interaction going to go now? Because that's in play.
Right.
That is in play.
Do you think Red Guardian will be in the Thunderbolts?
Not exactly. I don't think he'll be in the Thunderbolts. I believe he may because they were talking about that they're gonna do Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2, but Captain America Winter Soldier was beyond. And it would be funny to see him in that again. Like I fighting Captain America
than any of the other shows. To be fair.
Well, apparently they're not giving season 2 of any shows, but they are making a movie, so that could work.
That's not. I don't know. We gotta look into that because I know Loki.
Well, the writers of Winter Soldier and Falcon are writing Captain America 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
But from what Kevin Feige said a while back, there's not going to be any season 2s. These are all just miniseries, all leading to movies.
Yeah,
let's
because
face
you
it.
can't call the next show Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2. It's going to be Captain America
and the Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it would make sense that none of these shows get a season 2. The only one that makes sense is Loki because it's in his name.
Right.
WandaVision, no, because it was about WandaVision and it had a finale. But
I feel keep going. Sorry, keep going.
No, let's talk about something. I mean, we're talking about all this talk about the Thunderbolts. We get Florence Pugh now, who's taking up the mantle of Black Widow. Let's talk about the fact now that we are seeing a setup for also a possible West Coast Avengers. May not be Thunderbolts. It may be West Coast Avengers because we have White Vision in play. Sure. We have pretty much U.S. Agent. So it's like all these characters. Plus, we're starting to see even more characters with the Young Avengers, but we'll get into Loki about that. But yeah, we're seeing this. What are your guys' thoughts?
I don't think they're going to do the West Coast Avengers because if the only way they would do that is if Ant-Man and the Wasp continues after Quantumania. right? Once, because those two were main staples of West Coast Avengers.
Right, but why wouldn't it?
Right.
Well, a lot of these movies now are, if you look at it, are ending a sort of a finality. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that's their quote unquote last film, right? Quantumania, they're saying that that's going to lead into something even more, which probably is going to put them on the wayside and make Kang the big bad, right? And I was talking about this before. All these shows so far, WandaVision, Loki, right? What If? They're all leading to Doctor Strange 2, right? And there was a rumor that Captain Carter from What If is going to be in a live action role for Doctor Strange 2. So I don't think they're going to do the West Coast Avengers like that.
At the keyboard right now.
Right?
You want this shit verified right now.
There's a rumor. It is a rumor that Haley Atwell may be reprising that role as Captain Carter.
However, I do believe the Thunderbolts because they're introducing a lot of these secondary villain anti-hero characters.
Yeah, you have Ghost, who appeared in Ant-Man.
Right.
Abomination's coming back.
Yep.
Thunderbolt Ross, we want to see him do the Red Hulk. We definitely want to see it.
I want to see him do Red Hulk.
So I'm going to say that the first real MCU movie that people don't talk about is Incredible Hulk, 2008, right? Because nobody talks about it. Everybody always jumps straight to Iron Man. The reason I bring up 2008 is because everything Sean says, I'm going to throw that shit out the window because we don't know where we're going to be in the next 16 years. If all of this started in 2008 and we are now in 2021, I feel like we are at some point going to get that Avengers West Coast. Marvel's going to give us, even though they're no longer doing like general phases, there's a possibility that the way they are setting things up, we don't know where we're going to be in the next 10.
They're still doing phases.
Wait, Charlie, are you talking about the Eric Bana Incredible Hulk or the Edward Norton Incredible
Hulk? The Universal one, the one that came out after Iron Man 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not on Disney+.
But here's the problem. Because it was Universal, they kind of like nitpicked out of that. And they did, I remember Kevin Feige did say that eventually we are going to see the leader again out of that movie, but no time soon.
Yeah.
Right? So over the 16 years, yes, there's so many different things that have happened. However, contrary to your point, there has been a solid script. There has been, as Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury said in Iron Man, right? Or no, in the Avengers, there was always this plan to bring people together, right? And this was something that they hinted at from the very beginning. So there was a long-term plan, right? We can see now, because we've seen over 30 Marvel movies, where, for the most part, these plans go. Black Widow introduced us to multiple characters, some more important than others. Taskmaster, whether we like it or not, storyline-wise made sense, but will come back probably as a different character. Yelena Belova, whose MCU origin was completely changed from the comics, which is a welcome change because the actor and the character is such a welcoming one that people don't mind the origin change.
The MCU is notorious for changing origin stories.
Yeah,
like we got to be used to it.
I mean, they have to.
Wait, Red Guardian might be the super soldier. Supposedly, we should see them in future show. I agree with that because again, the characters on the board now. But I want to lead in with you guys, and Trey, I will lead in with you with this question: is how did you feel about the action in this movie? The action sequences, please. And the animator that you are, how did you feel about some of these special effects?
So here's the thing. It's really strange because like sometimes I can tell when a movie uses too much like CGI. Like Spider-Man pisses me off for that reason because I know when they use a CGI stunt double in those movies, and it just irks me to no end. What I liked about the fighting in Black Widow was that for a majority of it, it was all practical, and it was fast, it was quick. I really did enjoy the fighting in this movie. I really wanted to see more of it. When they had that, it's so funny because when that scene where we're at the dinner table, I was just thinking, when are they gonna fight again? Like, I just want to see more of that. If this is gonna be our swan song, I want to see her kick ass to no end. And I think at the very end of the movie where they have a big climactic scene where the Red Room was just falling apart. That was my favorite action scene, and not just in that movie, but like of all time in like the MCU. Like it was just so cool to watch. So,
Charlie, Sean, I'll let you tag team on that.
For me, the bridge scene, the very first fight scene on the bridge, that sets the tone of Taskmaster come looking for the vials. I think that for me kind of said, okay, I'm in here. Like, let's see where this this antagonist is going to go. I think in general, like the action like has me. Like, if I had to give that like a 5 out of 5, I'm sold on the action. I don't think like there was too much effects when it came to like any type of explosions, any type of real graphics. Like, I think it was just perfect. If I compare it to another movie, I feel like Thor 3 was way too much. You know, it was just way too much CGI. That's just my opinion. But in this, like, this is more low key. She's like the female Bruce Wayne to some extent. No manifested superpowers. It's just pure agility and super, like, you know, pure superhuman strength, I guess you can put it up to. So I think from that kind of set the tone for me, and I was happy with the action.
I mean, she's definitely, I wouldn't say Batman because she's not rich, right? So, you know, she couldn't get all those gadgets. So, but to me, the better action scenes were the ones that were very more close up, gritty. Like, to me, the best action scenes was when the two girls were fighting and literally trying to like kill each other just to see if they can trust each other. Right? That was a gritty scene. And the scene towards the end, just before like the Red Room is falling, when Black Widow is like fighting all the other Black Widows, but she's not trying to like hurt them. Right? To me, that scene, even though it's like an action scene, had so much emotional weight to it because she knows they're being controlled. So she's trying not to hurt them. But at the same time, she's also trying to save herself. Those action scenes above the big ones, like the whole ride down Budapest with the tank and, you know, the whole Taskmaster blowing shit up left and right. Right? To me, those action scenes are great. I guess that's probably why I'm with Law when it comes to like, with the Winter Soldier as one of the best MCU films, because the action scenes for them are just as close up, just as gritty, you know, just as fast paced, but also personal. That's what it is, personal. So
it has that Bourne Identity feeling, right? That Bourne.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah. Very much like
Yep.
Bourne.
Tone, Law, jump in with those
Yeah,
action sequences.
All right. I mean, I talked about the action sequences earlier, just in like the grittiness of it, especially when, you know, Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson are fighting each other. You know, and to Sean's part, when she's fighting all the Black Widows to get like, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. It's really great stuff. I think what we missed out on in regards to action was all like the full capabilities of Taskmaster. I think that was a big, huge miss that we really could have capitalized on. I thought like the little nods here and there were great. The Hawkeye with the arrow bouncing under the car was great. Her fighting like Winter Soldier with the knife and the knife dropping and doing the whole thing was great. The throwing the shield like Cap. But then she does the thing with the claws, but then we don't see her fight like Black Panther. I think there was a really missed opportunity for us to see her fight like all of these superheroes. Because one of the things I was looking forward to was catching all the nods for Taskmaster of all the people she studied, you know? And I think that was just a missed opportunity because I think it just would have been really, really dope as an action sequence to see her do that against both Scarlet and against Red Guardian. So I think, you know, but aside from that, you know, top-notch stuff. Kudos to the stunt team. And if Florence and Scarlet were doing their own stunts or, you know, to the capacity that they were allowed to, like great shit.
To piggyback off of that last statement that Tone mentioned, I would have loved to see that just to see like the thought, because we know that Black Widow is a very skilled fighter and she can adjust like, you know, as on the fly with the best of them. So I would have loved to see her make those adjustments, or Red Guardian make those adjustments, or Yelena make those adjustments while fighting Taskmaster, like midway going, oh shit, I can't do this, I have to switch it up. Oh shit, I can't do this, I have to switch it up, and just being like, I'm fucking stuck. Fuck, you know what I mean? So missed opportunity, agreed. But I do like that they let Black Widow to some degree feel like, I guess, somewhat of her comic book origin, where she felt like a little bit super, like more than human. Because there was that first fall when the Black Widow fell in the alleyway, and then she also fell and jumped down. I was like, that's a leap, girl. You fell from like 60 feet. And
That's the Assassin's Creed leap of faith.
Yeah, I was like, yo, like built different. I'm so glad that they leaned into a lot of, where she's Black Widow. Sure, she's human, but like she's gone up toe to toe with like crazy shit. There should be no reason why she couldn't take a hit and dish out the same level of like that's why like I was hyped when she was like, "Oh, you hit like a bitch, Dracoff. Like, what's up?" And I was like, "Let's fucking go." I was mad hyped for it,
So for me, I have to say the action when we saw the beginning, when she first got introduced to, when she first met Taskmaster with the explosion on the bridge, and when they were trying to escape from Taskmaster in the alley, it was quick. It was quick. The explosion was out of nowhere. It was boom, like holy shit. And then when the tank came out of nowhere, for me, that was like, dude, where the fuck did that tank come from? It just fucking came out of nowhere. I was like, holy shit. So the action was in his face. My favorite scenes, though, and I want to get everybody's favorite scenes. Again, I said bye, Mr. Mary Pie. I loved when David Arbor, the Red Guardian, took that one that one tranquilizer. He was like, yeah, this is nothing. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. I was like, oh fuck, that was funny. And then I love the scene again, like I'll always say, piggyback off of that, when she was getting punched by Dracoff, and she's like, yeah, you hit like a bitch. It's like she had to break her own nose. It's like, holy shit. But yeah, what was everyone's favorite scene? What was it? Let's go ahead. What was everyone's favorite scene in the movie? We know that this was Charlie's favorite scene.
Favorite. I think this is
like, I don't know what answer.
How did you say that?
That was
no, Charlie, real quick.
That was a well-written joke. It was well written. The fact that you previous scenes they're having this whole conversation about why do you do this pose, and then in action she does the pose, and then she it clicks in her head that she's like, oh, I get it. I do the pose. Right. So I think that was one of like the funniest moments, other than the
when she did herself, when Elena did it, and she was like,
gross.
That was gross. I don't like it.
Charlie, I just have to ask, like, how much time in Photoshop did you
I did that in 2 minutes when I was when I came into the group. When I met you guys, I did that. I was doing that right then and there.
Yo.
This is on brand. This is all on brand. But yeah,
actually, he's not joking, because we were talking about this earlier, and as soon as he got home, that's what he was working on.
Yeah, I was like, let me open Photoshop, and yeah.
Trey, give us your
favorite scene. Strangely enough, I think my favorite scene is post credits. Where you see, you get to say goodbye to Black Widow, Natasha. One thing is you finally got to see that. You finally get to see that she got her dog, which is great. But like I said, I think that scene, because it was just so silent and peaceful, it felt like it carried more weight. It's just like you realize now that. Yeah, it's like, shit, she's gone. Like, we just watched her on her big, epic bow, and now we have to say goodbye, and it really did pull my heartstrings. I was just like, we're never going to see this character again, unless they do flashbacks, which I doubt, but yeah, that I think that scene spoke volume for him. All the scenes are great, but that one spoke to me the most.
Isn't it? All right, so this is going to be weird if I can piggyback off of that. I feel like we got to say goodbye to the character, but because we now know her sister in a future movie is going off after Hawkeye, I feel like we got to say goodbye to the character, but not goodbye to her story. Because even though we know that her death wasn't his fault, and we know that, I feel like the relationship between her and Hawkeye her character is going to live on. In that sense, I know that's very like maybe that's reaching, but that's the feeling I get.
No, that's not because if you really think about it, like all the characters that we've lost in the MCU, their stories are still living on. Like Iron Man's story is still living on because everybody remembers the sacrifice that Tony did, and it's like Cap's story is still going on with what he's with passing of the torch and what he's done.
You know whose story's not living on? Quicksilver.
There you go.
Damn. That's not nice to talk about Ralph Boner like that.
That was savage.
We don't talk about Ralph Boner like that, man. Come on, man.
Come on, give us your favorites, then we can wrap up with me and Tone and call it.
Okay, so real quick, my two favorite scenes are one. Shut up. My two favorite scenes is one, the intro. Right, when they're going through the intro, the Marvel credits and stuff, and it gives you that whole history of the Black Widow program as it related not only to those two but to the other women as well. It was a great recap. It was a great expositional recap, right? That didn't feel forced. It was actually natural to the movie, and it felt like something that. And to me, I love that. If you can tell a story just visually, right, and make it look good. Right, and tell a story that you can move forward without having people to say, "Oh, well, what does that mean?" That's perfect. And the second scene I like, believe it or not, the family dinner scene, just for the fact that they were together and that thing, and even though they realized that it was a fake family, to most of those people, it felt real. And that kind of storytelling right there, that's what was the heart of the movie, right there in that dinner scene. And I think that was like one of the better scenes for me. That, and of course, what you said, Yelena, like shrugging off the pose because she thought it was disgusting.
So, in other words, Vin Diesel's going to be upset because they stole the whole concept of family. Dad joke.
What about y'all two? Ignore him.
Dad joke.
Oh no.
Lawrence hates me for those jokes right now because like I've been blowing up his
there
phone.
was 20 in a day.
Well, before we do go, because again, I want to get Tony and Law's favorite scenes. But I want to point out too the awesome detail that they did was how in Avengers: Infinity War, Black Widow had the vest. Now we know where she got the vest from.
Y'all keep stealing the shit that I want to fucking mention. God damn it, I hate going last.
That's why we have, and that's what happens when Seabass puts 6 people in this fucking thing.
Tag Law.
That's why I'll be like, you know what? I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. Y'all got this. I'll say something else. Go ahead, Law.
Y'all pretty much mentioned a lot of the shit I was gonna say. I will say that with the opening sequence, as we got introduced, it didn't feel like a Marvel movie. Like it felt like a Jason Bourne spy thriller movie where I was just like, oh shit. And I remember like watching, like genuinely just like, fuck yeah, Marvel, give me more of this, because I felt more, not so much that I need a Marvel movie to feel grounded, but it felt like they were hitting the same notes that we got with Winter Soldier and what made Winter Soldier such a good movie.
Yeah.
So that off the jump, I was already sold. I would also say like one of the bigger scenes for me was a lot of the like interactions between sisters, like the pockets, the this and that third, when they were in the car together, like how they like reacted over each other, even the fight scene that they had with each other initially, just to be like, yo, we good? Can we? Was really dope to see, because you can see like there's a lot of regret with Scarlett. There's a lot of admiration and like resentment with Flo that gets worked very well throughout the course of the story, and I was here for all of it. So there was a lot of great scenes. You guys stole a bunch of them, but for that like those details of like the sisters and then even the family, like what we saw in the 90s was like, oh snap, and then you just see the flip of the switch. Yeah, we gotta go. Shut all this shit down. We gotta go. Was massively done. Go ahead, Tone. Take us away.
All right. Yeah. So two of my favorite scenes. So one is Yelena in the truck stop Wawa, I guess, when she's like faking the pose and like trying to do it. And I thought that was a really like the comedy for there was great, and also her talking to Dreykov, calling him a bitch. But I gotta say, what I really enjoyed about the movie was that how much I hated Dreykov as a scumbag, and we got the guy for 10 fucking minutes.
Yo, for real.
Like
For
the way
real.
he was really tying in that human trafficking thing of all the women, talking about that and like saying how he's using girls as weapons, the fact that there's like a whole like biological pheromone thing, just all this stuff that he
All
does.
the things that made him.
The fact that he used his daughter, like there's so many levels to him. There was no need for me to see why he got this way. There was no need for a gray, and I think we were talking about this like last week about gray and black and white villains.
Right.
And he was a perfect black villain. Black and white villain, just perfect. I hated him. I was happy when he fucking died and burned in the fucking plane, and it got the point across. Yep. And it was great. I you get like 10-15 minutes with a really good villain antagonist, and you really understand why Black Widow left. Like you get it, and like you understand the red in her ledger. Like it all makes sense, which is what I loved about it. One of the things I loved about it.
I have to say too, like
so. I just want to add this in there. Something that's the movie highlighted. The movie definitely highlighted family. And I think that's important. I'm happy that
can we cut him off? We're already over time. Can we cut him off, please?
Yeah, VT, go. Come on, because Charlie was going through some shit and cut you off. VT, go.
You know what? I'm glad I got stopped for that because that was gold. That was just beautiful.
Don't encourage him.
He's going to do to all you guys tonight. I just know it. So I think, I guess just to wrap it up. There was something to this movie that I didn't really realize until like I stopped watching. I realized there was a lot more gravity to this entire movie. Because you're not dealing with like demigods, you're not dealing with, kids who got bit by a radioactive spider. They're all human, and there's more gravity to it because you don't know who's gonna live. You don't know who's going to die. You know that their motives are most human-like. And I think that was just such a subtle element to this entire movie. Now, of course, like, you do have, like, scenes where they show that science was involved. But for the most part, everyone was just like us. And I think that's such a great tonal shift in this movie.
Agreed.
That's the best.
I'll keep this short because what you're saying, BT, is something that Law says. The fact that Marvel's able to tell a story about superheroes or people who are superheroes without being over the top, without it always having to be about strength, and there's a human aspect to it. I think that's why it fits in those categories of like Born Identity or in that thriller sense. And that's why, just to drop this with Doctor Strange 2, I look forward to see what Marvel does with going into the horror route, because how do they normalize and make that in that genre or in that space? How do they do that? Because they've been doing a good job, whether if they're focusing on the superpower aspect or just the everyday human like interaction, like low key aspect of it.
Right.
Anyway, I want to, before we go, I didn't want me to know that we're ignoring him. Again, Marvel is and DC are full of shadow organizations. And AIM, yes, they were mentioned in Iron Man 3, but because Iron Man 3 kind of flopped, they're probably holding them off. And also too, we may get AIM in because Deadpool is now in the MCU, and we know that one of his best friends is one of the AIM guys. So, we're gonna be back at 10:30 for more MCU. We're gonna be talking about Loki. So again, check out everyone's links in the description. Check out the Kickstarter that's in the description for Hazzum Productions by Rodney Fikes book that's out. So please check it out. Again, we want to thank everyone who joined us tonight. We will catch you guys back at 10:30. This has been your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy.
Your boy Tone from across the hall. See y'all in 20 minutes.
Yep.